People always say family never turns on you. They're wrong because mine did. And it all started with a necklace I never touched and a lie I never saw coming. One minute I was pouring orange juice at my sister's birthday party after finishing my night shift at the hospital. The next she stood up in front of everyone, pointed at me and said I stole her $9,000 necklace, the gold heirloom from our grandmother. Laughter stopped. Forks froze midair. And suddenly I wasn't Ava the nurse who paid the bills. I was Ava the thief, the liar, the shame of the family, a nurse who supposedly stole from her own sister. They kicked me out that same night. No warning, no suitcase, just my nursing bag, my license, and a door slammed shut so hard it rattled the windows. What they didn't know, that I had been paying for everything. Their mortgage, their utilities, my dad's medical bills, even my sister's private university tuition that she'd been hiding was already in default. And when I walked away, I didn't just take my scrubs and stethoscope. I took their entire financial foundation with me. This is the story of how they tried to ruin me, and how piece by piece, they ended up tearing down their own world instead. My name is Ava, and I'm 29 years old. If you had told me a few months ago that my own sister would accuse me of stealing a $9,000 necklace and threaten to report me for theft at the hospital where I worked, I would have laughed through my exhaustion. Not because Bianca wasn't capable of something that cruel, but because I never thought she'd actually go that far. But she did. And what came after, that's what no one saw coming. Let me take you back to the day everything fell apart. It was Sunday, sunny, warm, one of those deceptively peaceful days. I just finished a grueling 12-hour night shift in the ER, but still dragged myself to help with Bianca's birthday celebration. My body ached, but family came first. It always had. Inside our house, there was a storm building, and I was too tired to see the warning signs. Bianca, my younger sister, had been hyping this party on Instagram for weeks. Special announcement coming, she'd teased to her modest following. She had balloons, champagne flutes, expensive catering, and even asked friends to take photos for her social media. I thought it was excessive for someone with no job, but I helped anyway, arranging flowers with hands still raw from sanitizer. That's who I was, the reliable one, the caretaker both at work and home. I had been the one silently paying our mortgage, our utilities, Dad's health insurance since he lost his management position 3 years ago. Mom's part-time office job barely covered groceries. I never mentioned the spreadsheet where I tracked every bill, every payment. I even covered Bianca's university tuition directly through the bursar's office using my nursing salary. She had no idea. I did it because I believed in family, in keeping us whole. Turns out I was only making it easier for them to betray me. That afternoon, everyone was laughing, taking selfies around the table. Mimosas were being passed around while I sipped water, still recovering from my shift. Bianca was showing off a new designer purse I knew we couldn't afford. Then she stood up, tapped her glass with a spoon and said, "Before we go any further, I need to make an important announcement." I thought maybe she'd finally found a job or was thanking everyone for coming, but no. She looked directly at me, her eyes cold with calculated malice, and said, "I hate to do this today, but I can't stay silent anymore. Ava stole Grandma's $9,000 gold necklace that was meant for me. I've been searching everywhere for weeks, and yesterday I found it hidden in her drawer, wrapped in her scrubs." My heart stopped. The room went silent, and then just like that, everyone believed her. No one questioned why a nurse who saved lives would steal. No one asked for proof. My mother gasped, "I knew it. I always wondered how things went missing from patients at your hospital." My father just stared at his plate, refusing to meet my eyes. I stood there frozen, my hands trembling like they did after losing a patient, trying to speak, but the words stuck in my throat. I hadn't stolen anything, not from Bianca, not from anyone. And yet in one moment, I became not just a thief, but someone who might violate her professional ethics. "I'll be calling your hospital tomorrow," Bianca added with a smirk only I could see. "They should know what kind of person they have working in their ER." They told me to leave that very night. No time to pack properly, no chance to explain, just my nursing bag and whatever I could grab in 10 minutes. They didn't know what I was really about to do. They didn't know I was the one who kept their comfortable lifestyle afloat while they criticized my boring career choice. But they were about to find out. That night I didn't cry. I should have. But when someone you love stabs you in the back, the pain is too sharp for tears. I sat in Harper's spare bedroom, still wearing my scrubs, staring at the wall, trying to breathe through the tightness in my chest. Harper, my colleague from the pediatric ward, had offered me a place without hesitation. Nurses take care of their own, she'd said firmly, setting down fresh towels and a spare set of keys. I didn't tell her everything, just that my family had accused me of something terrible and I needed somewhere to stay. But deep inside, something fundamental shifted. For nearly 5 years I'd been paying bills for a house where my name wasn't even on the deed. I covered Bianca's private university tuition while she posted designer outfits with captions like, "Grateful for family support." I paid for Dad's heart medication, Mom's car payments, even their country club membership they insisted on keeping after Dad lost his management position. I worked double shifts during COVID while Bianca complained about online classes from our paid-off living room. And what did I get in return? A public accusation that threatened not just my family's standing but my professional license. No defense. No benefit of doubt. Not a single person asked why a nurse with a spotless record would suddenly become a thief. I was guilty because blaming the dutiful daughter who never complained was convenient. That night I opened my laptop and logged into the family finance spreadsheet I maintained for years. One by one, I methodically severed the financial ties that held their lives together. I canceled the automatic mortgage payments. I stopped the utility transfers scheduled for the first of each month. I halted the recurring payments for Dad's cardiac medications and Mom's car insurance. I erased my name from the contact information on Bianca's university portal and deleted the payment method. Every last cent that had flowed from my nursing salary to their comfort stopped that night. The house remained in my father's name. The bills would still go to my mother's email. The medications would run out soon enough. They'd figure it out when the comfortable life they took for granted began to crumble. And when they did, I wouldn't be there to fix it this time. I didn't leave a note. I didn't send a warning text. I just disappeared from their lives as completely as they had erased me from the family. And for the first time since nursing school, I felt something close to freedom. No weight of family expectations crushing my shoulders. No frantic calls to cover another bill they'd forgotten. No one treating me like my career saving lives was less important than Bianca's social media aspirations. But that peace, it didn't last long, because within 10 days, the reality of their situation came crashing down. 10 days after I left, a notification lit up my phone from an unknown number: "The power's been shut off. Dad needs his medication refrigerated. The internet's gone too and Bianca has online submissions due. Fix this now." No, hello. No, how are you holding up after we threw you out? Just demanding capital letters lighting up my screen, as if I were still the family problem solver on permanent call. I silenced my phone without replying. The next day, Warren, my dad, called. I let it go to voicemail. His message wasn't angry like I expected. It was confused, bewildered even. "Ava, listen, something strange is happening with all the accounts. We're getting calls from the mortgage company, the utility providers, even notices from Bianca's university. Her academic portal is locked because of some payment issue. And my heart medication refill was denied at the pharmacy. Can you just call me back? Please?" I almost laughed, a bitter sound in Harper's quiet apartment. Payment issue. After 5 years, they still hadn't realized I was the invisible foundation holding their lives together. By day 12, my email inbox overflowed with forwarded notices from their service providers. Past due alerts. Disconnection warnings. Mortgage late fees. Alerts that Bianca's university account had been locked for non-payment and her incomplete coursework was now in jeopardy. Dad's insurance coverage warnings about lapsed premium payments. By day 14, reality finally hit them. That's when Lydia, my mom, showed up at the hospital during my shift. How she found my new schedule, I'll never know. I saw her through the glass doors of the ER, demanding to speak with me. My supervisor blocked her path as I slipped into the staff area, hands shaking as I prepared medications for my patients. Through the walls, I could hear her shrill voice, "You ungrateful little nurse. We gave you everything. We supported your little career. You think walking away makes you strong? It makes you pathetic. What kind of healthcare worker abandons her own family?" She had no idea. She had no idea they were the ones who had taken everything from me, my savings, my peace of mind, my professional reputation. She had no idea I had been paying for the roof over her head, the car she drove to her part-time job, and the food she photographed for her social media friends. I wasn't going to explain myself, not to them, not anymore. But life has a way of revealing truths even when you stay silent, because just 2 days later, a message arrived that changed everything. It came from Olivia, our neighbor, with a video attached. Olivia had always been kind to me. She lived 2 houses down, a middle-aged videographer who worked from her home studio. She'd watched Bianca and me grow up, sometimes looking after us when our parents were too busy with their social obligations. I hadn't spoken to her since everything happened. So when her name appeared in my messages, I nearly ignored it. But the preview caught my eye. "Ava, you need to see this." I was testing equipment in my backyard studio and caught something you should hear. My heart raced as I opened the message. She had attached a video file. It started with ambient garden noises, birds chirping, then voices getting closer. Bianca's voice came through with crystal clarity as she walked past Olivia's fence with a friend. Of course I planted that necklace in her scrubs drawer. I needed everyone to finally see her for what she is, boring, self-righteous, and way too full of herself. Mom's always comparing us, saying how irresponsible Ava is with her noble nursing career. Well, let's see how noble she looks when the hospital hears she steals from patients and family. I froze, staring at the screen. My ears rang like they do when a trauma code is called. My hands went cold, the same feeling I get before a difficult procedure. She admitted it. She planted the necklace. She framed me. She deliberately tried to destroy my career. All to knock me down in front of our family. Olivia sent a follow-up message. I was testing my directional mic setup for a documentary. I didn't realize what I'd captured until I reviewed the footage last night. This isn't right, Ava. She shouldn't get away with this. I sat on Harper's couch, utterly stunned. I wanted to scream until my throat was raw. I wanted to cry until there was nothing left inside me. But mostly, I wanted them to understand exactly what they had thrown away. "Can I use this?" I texted Olivia. Her response came seconds later. "I already sent copies to the hospital administration and Bianca's University Ethics Board. I included a statement about your character. A real nurse shouldn't lose her career because of a jealous sister's lies." And just like that, the first crack appeared in Bianca's perfectly curated world. 3 days later, Bianca was called before the University Ethics Committee. Her Instagram account suddenly went private. No more designer outfit posts, no more beauty tutorials, just digital silence. Meanwhile, Lydia's Facebook page transformed overnight from a proud mom of 2 amazing daughters to sharing vague quotes about family betrayal and the pain only a mother knows. I didn't need to attend any hearings. I didn't need to make any statements. The truth was working its own quiet magic, and I could focus on rebuilding my life. By the time Bianca's second ethics hearing arrived, her carefully constructed image had completely unraveled. Olivia's video hadn't stayed confined to the administration. Someone leaked it to campus social media groups where it spread like wildfire. Fellow nursing students at the hospital where I worked shared messages of support. Other healthcare workers left encouraging comments on my professional profile. Meanwhile, Bianca's former friends whispered in hallways and classrooms. Art professors who once praised her mediocre work suddenly scrutinized everything she submitted. The wannabe influencer who had posted about authenticity while living off my paycheck became the cautionary tale of her entire department. She attempted damage control, predictably. She published a dramatic post about complex family dynamics and my side of the story, complete with a professionally edited black and white photo of herself gazing tearfully out a window. She limited comments and added trigger warnings, but it was too little, too late. The truth had already taken root and flowered into consequences. Then came the final blow from the university. She wasn't just disciplined, she was fully suspended for multiple ethics violations and conduct unbecoming a student. The investigation had uncovered not just her lie about me, but a pattern of academic dishonesty. Apparently, she had previously submitted other students' work as her own in digital media classes and received a formal warning. This time, with the evidence so public and damning, the university refused to look the other way. She returned home in disgrace, her influencer dreams in tatters. Lydia spiraled into crisis mode, calling everyone she knew for help. Warren sat motionless at the kitchen table they could no longer afford, staring blankly at past due notices, his heart medication running dangerously low. The house, once filled with Bianca's noisy friends and social gatherings, fell silent except for arguments about money. And the most fitting twist? They couldn't pay for anything anymore. The mortgage was 2 months behind. Utilities were disconnected one after another. Lydia called the power company screaming about customer loyalty, only to discover all the accounts had been in my name and were now permanently closed. They had no emergency fund, no credit line, no contingency plan, because they had always had me. Meanwhile, I was not just surviving, I was thriving. Dr. Martinez had noticed my unwavering professionalism throughout the entire ordeal. Not once did you let your personal crisis affect patient care, she told me during a private meeting. That's the mark of an exceptional nurse. She offered me a specialized position at a prestigious teaching hospital in another state. They need someone with your skills in their trauma department, she explained. Better hours, significantly better pay, and most importantly, a fresh start away from all this. I accepted immediately. Within 2 weeks, I moved into a small but immaculate apartment near the new hospital. No family drama echoing through the walls. No one demanding my paycheck. No betrayal waiting at the breakfast table. Just me, my nursing journals, and the sound of my own peaceful breathing. For the first time since I'd earned my license, I didn't feel guilty about putting myself first. Not even a little bit. 2 weeks after settling into my new routine, my phone rang with a number I hadn't seen in years. Aunt Eleanor, my father's older sister and a practicing attorney who had distanced herself from the family long ago. When I was younger, my parents had described her as difficult and jealous of our lifestyle. It turns out they were just terrified of what she knew about them. "Hello, Ava," she said warmly, her voice bringing back childhood memories of the one adult who actually listened to me. "I saw what happened with your family on that university forum. I've been keeping tabs from a distance. There's something you need to know." I sat down, confused by this unexpected connection to my past. Eleanor continued, her lawyer's precision evident in every word. "Your grandmother, your father's mother, established a medical education trust fund in her will. It was specifically designated for you. Only you." I nearly dropped the phone. "What? Your grandmother was so proud when you talked about becoming a nurse, even as a little girl. She wanted to support your medical aspirations. But your parents never told you about it. After she died, they convinced the executor that you were too young to manage it responsibly, and that they would administer it until you completed your education. But that money was never intended for them to use." My heart pounded in my chest. "How much are we talking about, Eleanor?" "Just over $85,000, specifically earmarked for medical school if you ever wanted to become a doctor. Your grandmother believed in your potential in healthcare. I only discovered this because I ran into her former estate attorney at a bar association event last month. He naturally assumed you'd been using the funds for your nursing education all this time." I sank deeper into my couch, stunned into silence. They hadn't just lied. They hadn't just framed me. They had actively stolen my future, the path my grandmother had tried to pave for me. All those double shifts during nursing school. All those student loans I was still paying off. All while they had been secretly spending money that was legally mine. Eleanor, ever the attorney, didn't waste time on sympathy. "I've already prepared the paperwork to recover the funds. As your father's sister, I have certain insights that will expedite the process. With your permission, I'd like to proceed immediately." Within 3 weeks, after Eleanor's ruthlessly efficient legal campaign, I had control of what remained of the trust. Remarkably, despite years of their spending, most of it was still there, over $65,000 preserved through various legal protections my grandmother had wisely established. That night, as I transferred the recovered funds into a new account with my name alone, something shifted inside me. It felt like a wound I hadn't even known was there had finally closed. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about reclaiming what should have been mine all along. This was about honoring my grandmother's wishes for my future in medicine. And suddenly, with perfect clarity, I knew exactly what I needed to do next. With my grandmother's medical trust fund finally in my possession and my new trauma nursing position paying nearly twice my previous salary, I didn't just feel free. I felt purposeful. For years I had worked in silence. I paid their bills, administered Dad's medications, maintained their comfortable lifestyle, all while staying in the background of family photos. Now I was ready to step into the foreground and use my voice. That's when inspiration struck. I used part of the trust fund to create a YouTube channel called Nursing Made Simple with Ava. I set up a small filming area in my apartment's spare room, using my medical knowledge and communication skills to explain complex health topics in accessible language. My first video was called Patient Advocacy, when healthcare workers face ethical challenges. Without naming names, I wove my personal experience into professional advice about maintaining integrity when falsely accused. It resonated immediately with healthcare workers across the country. Within weeks, the subscriber count climbed into the thousands. Comments poured in from nurses, paramedics, and other medical professionals. This happened at my hospital too. You put into words what I couldn't explain to my family. Thank you for standing up for our profession. I expanded into practical medical education videos. How to recognize stroke symptoms. How to perform basic first aid. How to advocate for yourself or loved ones in hospital settings. How to spot signs of medical gaslighting. Medical supply companies began reaching out about sponsorships. Nursing journals requested interviews. Medical podcasts invited me as a guest expert. My perspective as both a trauma nurse and someone who had survived personal trauma gave me a unique voice in healthcare communication. My story evolved from personal vindication into a platform for others who felt silenced in their professions and families. Meanwhile, my former family's situation continued to deteriorate. They eventually sold the house, unable to keep up with the mortgage payments. Warren's health declined without consistent medication management. Bianca attempted to rebrand herself as a wellness advocate on a new social media account. It gained little traction. Her previous actions had permanently damaged her credibility in both academic and online spaces. As one of my followers aptly commented, medical credentials take years to build and seconds to destroy. One morning as I prepared for a hospital shift, a text message appeared on my phone from Lydia. Can we please talk, Ava? Dad's not well. I never responded. I no longer needed closure or vindication from people who had questioned not just my integrity but my professional ethics. I had found something better than their approval. I had found my purpose. Now, every time I adjust my camera for a new medical demonstration video, every time I rehearse a script explaining complex healthcare concepts, I remember the moment Bianca threatened to destroy my nursing career with her lies. And I can't help but smile, because in trying to tear me down, they inadvertently pushed me toward my true calling. They kicked me out of the family. So I built a medical education platform that helps thousands. And this time, no one can take it away from me. It's been 14 months now. A full year since I was ejected from my childhood home with nothing but my nursing bag and my credentials. A year since I was called a thief, a liar, and even a threat to patients by the very family I had supported through my grueling night shifts and overtime hours. Life has a way of revealing its purpose through hardship. Back then, I thought I was losing my family. What I was really losing were the chains that kept me from becoming who I was meant to be. Now I wake up each morning in my apartment near the teaching hospital. The space is modest but entirely mine, clean, organized, with medical textbooks rather than other people's messes. Between hospital shifts, I drink my coffee at the small balcony table while responding to collaboration requests from medical education platforms. My YouTube channel has grown to over 500,000 subscribers. I've spoken at nursing conferences about patient advocacy. I've been featured in healthcare journals discussing ethical challenges in modern medicine. I've helped countless healthcare workers, especially women, recognize toxic family dynamics that drain their energy after already demanding shifts caring for others. I've even started taking pre-med courses in the evenings, finally using my grandmother's trust fund for its intended purpose. Medical school at 30 is daunting, but not impossible. Through mutual colleagues, I occasionally hear that my former family watches my videos. Apparently, Warren now depends on my emergency care tutorials to manage his condition. Lydia tells acquaintances she always knew I would succeed in healthcare. Bianca reportedly complains that I'm showing off with my medical knowledge. The truth is, I didn't suddenly become this person. I was always a caregiver, always methodical, always drawn to medicine. They just never looked past their own needs to actually see me. Now they observe my life from a distance. They sit in the consequences of their actions. They feel the absence of the daughter who once kept their lives functioning, their prescriptions filled, their lifestyle intact. I don't harbor hatred toward them. I don't wish them medical hardship or financial ruin. But I do hope they understand this fundamental truth. When you try to bury a healthcare worker under false accusations, you forget we're trained to thrive under pressure. We don't always disappear when pushed aside. Sometimes we emerge stronger, more focused, more determined to heal others. That's how I transformed their betrayal into my calling. They tried to destroy my nursing career with lies, but I walked away and built a medical education platform they now turn to for advice. If you've ever been falsely accused of ethical violations, or used by the very people you were caring for, remember this: walking away from toxicity isn't abandonment. For healthcare workers especially, it's sometimes the most medically necessary thing you can do. Thank you for following my journey.